Okay, we're starting Perek Beis in Shah Tanta. After we already spoke about the Otzros Chaim, now come the Otzros Chaim, the ore that comes out of the nose, and these are called and the ore that comes out is called Tamim HaMitzayim. The Tamim, the musical note, the trumpet that's in the center of the Otzros. And this is the ore that comes out of the chotem and the nose of the Chotem. Chotem hu kaminyan sag. And chotem is the gematria of sag, of 63. Because we said the ore of sag is coming out of the chotem, but only the tamim of sag, because sag is broken down into 4 different bechinos. Sag is broken down into tamim, nekudos, tagim, and osios. And here we're dealing with the tamim of sag. We're saying that the tamim of sag come out, the ones that are on top of the osios come out of the ozon, the ones that are inside the osios or in the level of the osios come out of the chotem, and the tamim that are underneath the osios come out of the peh. We're going to speak about that. And also from here, they come out of both of the holes of the nose. And like we saw by the ears, the right is makif, the right is or makif, and the left is or pnimi. Like we saw by the ozon. Here, the forest of the chotem go all the way down to the chazan. Where the Otzros Chaim, we said, only goes down to the shivos hazokim. And this is the main part of the ore, the main aspect of the ore, the light that spreads out down from the chotem straight down to the chazan, to the chest. Omnam, meharoso gamken, umispashto tzad ha'ocher, umisavev b'chol tzvivos ha'adam kadmon. However, from the light that emanates from this main ore that goes down to the chazan, there is ore that's mispashet, that spreads out even around the back and surrounds all Adam Kadmon. So the main light goes down to the chazan, but there's also ha'ara, there's also a radiance that spreads around the whole Adam Kadmon. Here, the oros ha'pnimim, we said, which comes out of the left nostril, and the oros ha'makifim, which come out of the right nostril, are much closer. Yosim Otzros Chaim, much closer than the Otzros Chaim. The Otzros Chaim were much farther away, and the Otzros Chaim are much closer. Because the holes of the chotem themselves are actually closer one to another. However, with all this, they still did not actually touch. And also in these oros, in the oros of the chotem, we don't see yet the or b'chinas kelim. Up until now, we're only dealing with oros. The kelim were not created yet, vessels were not created yet. The concept of vessels, we're going to see later that it's balua, it's enveloped inside the light, or dissolved inside the light, held inside the light of all the oros that we're speaking about. But they didn't actually come to a revelation. They didn't come to reveal and exist in and of themselves, these kelim. So, also in these oros, they don't have kelim, since we said that the kelim only come about through the unity of the oros ha'makifim and oros ha'pnimim. And we said that by the oznaim they never actually touched, so they didn't actually hit each other to create kelim. And also by the chotem, we still don't have what's called a batisha, the hitting of the two lights, in order to create kelim. And what we have added here, more than we have by the oznaim, what we have is that the us vav, which was inside the hay, that was in the ozon, that was included inside the hay of the ozon, now gets revealed. We said that by the ozon has the ors coming out of the ozon have one surah, they have one form, the shape of one os, the os hay. And this os hay is made up of a dalet, which is the main part of the big part of the os, and then hay, which is the foot of the os, the vav, which is the foot of the os. So now we have here in the chotem, the addition that we have over what we had by the Otzros Chaim is that here the vav gets separated from the dalet, and hay is made up of two osios. So now we don't have one os with two parts. we have two separate osios. Mashahaisa as bechinas hey, and before in the ears were bechinas hey, naseata bechinas osios daled vav, now become the concept of, or the form of daled and a vav, two separate osios. Lahorsi tzias havav l'chutz v'giluyeh, which is coming to show that the vav gets revealed. The vav, which was before included inside the original os, the os hey, now gets taken out and gets opened up to be revealed as an os inside of in of itself. And this is the concept of zerampin, the sort of zerampin that's being revealed here at this stage of the chotem. However, the vav was not made all by itself, meaning it wasn't just that the vav became revealed as a separate os. There's another aspect. The vav also was divided into its parts, so to speak, which was the vav is Gematria 6. So the vav was broken down to 6 aleph. So it comes out to 6. It's like the building blocks of the vav, so to speak. So we say that not only was the os hey separated into 2 osios, vav and daled, also the vav itself was separated into 6 osios, which was 6 alpha. The Talmud Dorahu, ki ahei patzufim anicholim b'os hey halohem aricham bin abba v'ima zampin v'nokma. Now the reason for this division is that the 5 patzufim that were included in the os hey that we saw in the os 9. The names of these patzufim are aricham bin abba v'ima zampin v'nokma, kanizkalea, as mentioned above. Vehem b'chinas Yechida Chaya Neshama Ruach Nefesh, and these 5 patzufim relate directly, as we see in the Akdamos, to relate directly to the Nefesh Ruach Neshama Chaya Yechida. Each one relates to one another. Ayachavim relates to Yechida, Ava relates to Chaya, Neshama relates to Ima, Ruach relates to Zampin, and Nefesh relates to Nefesh. V'nimtza ki Zah b'chinas Ruach. It comes out that Zah is b'chinas Ruach. Zampin is b'chinas Ruach. And here we're talking about the chotem, which is zampin, and we're talking about the concept of ruach. And ruach has 6 ksavos, and zampin has 6 ksavos. The pasuk says, "Ki kol Hashem nishmas ruach chaim ba'apeh." Anything that has a ruach chaim, of spirit of life, in its nose. So here we see that ruach chaim, ruach specifically, is inside the nose. We see here that the concept of ruach, the union of ruach, is revealed and is broken down and is shown at the level where at the chotem specifically. Therefore, here by the Adam Kadmo, by the chotem, it gets the vav gets revealed, which is zampin. Zampin has basically, we call it as having 6 spheres. If you take the 10 spheres and you break it down to 5 patzufim, so you're missing. You start with 10 and you end up with 5. What happened? Zampin took, so to speak, 6 of the spheres. So it was made up of 6 of the spheres, of the 10 spheres. Ava os hadalad nisheres os echos mechuberes. But the dalad stays as one os, which is totally attached, meaning we don't break it into its fundamental building blocks. We don't break it into 4 alphin, into 4 alephs. We leave it here at the chotem. It's left. Hashem leaves it as a simple daled, not broken down into 4 alphin. We'll see later on that it will be broken down into 4 alphin when it gets to the pen. But the os vav is divided into 4 alphin, meaning it's broken down even more than just that it has a separate letter. That os vav was not just a part of hey. It actually has broken down to 4 alpha. And just like the vav in the right nostril is broken down into 6, so too the vav in the left nostril is also broken down to 6. If you add them all together, you now have 12 alpha. And if you count the chotem itself, the nose itself, then you count that as 1, because it's one item, apparently. Then you end up also with 13, which is Gematria Vav. Vav, Aleph, Vav is Gematria 13. You know, so that's the way you write Vav. You write Vav by writing the Vav and then Aleph and Vav. So now we have another revelation of the Os Vav. Also, we're going to see a little bit more about it in a moment. Through taking the gematria of the 6 alpha from one nostril, 6 alpha from another nostril, and the nose itself, comes out to 13, which is gematria, which you could write out Vav, Vav, Aleph, Vav. V'chen, beis havayas elu imachotem atzmam sheksurosam Aleph kanota. And also the two Vavs, if you take the Vav from the right nostril, the Vav from the left nostril, with the form of the Aleph, the form of the nose itself, which is Aleph, we're going to explain. Ki beis mikveh achotem and beis yudim, the two nostrils are like two Yuds. And the wall that's between the two nostrils is the shape of a Vav. So if you take a Vav and you put one Yud on the top, one Yud on the bottom, then you could make an Aleph. If you obviously the one on the bottom, which one set out, then you end up with an Aleph. Right, so it's Aleph. You have an Aleph. The even base of Vavim, Vav, and if you add the two Vavs from the two nostrils, you have Vav, Vav, which spells Vav. And this is coming to show that above in B'china Rosh, which we said, which is above those 9, Hu Shem Av, there we have the Shem Av, which is Avayda Yudim, where even the Vav inside the Havaya of Ayin Beis is written with Vav Yud Vav, not Vav Aleph Vav. V'kan Hu Shem Sag, and here from the ears and down, meaning the ears, nose, and the mouth, is only revelation, only comes out Shem Sag. We don't have Shem Av coming out. Ki ein hefresh bein Havaya Av l'Havaya Sag, because there's no difference between Havaya of Av, spelling of Hashem's name, through the spelling of Av l'Havaya Sag. The only difference is when you fill it out with the letter that's filled out with the Vav that's filled out with either an Aleph or a Yud. By Sag, it's spelled out Vav. The Vav in Hashem Havaya is spelled out Vav Aleph Vav, and by Sag, by Av, it's spelled out Vav Yud Vav. That's the difference between the two. That's the difference between the two Shemos, Av and Sag. The difference is only 9, and that's this 9 right over here with this Aleph. And these two Vavim are also, the two Vavim the nostrils are a Bechina of the two Tamim, the two musical notes, the two trops that we have that are in the center of the table, meaning they stand in the center of the table, like we said. And Pasuk Ramaka. If you look in the beginning of the Chumash, you can see all the trop there. They should bring it down. And one of them is Pasuk, which is, I think, a straight line like this. And one is Makaf. Pasuk, I think, is a straight line like this. And a Makaf is a line like this. Kanona. So these are the two musical notes that we have inside the Husim. Ki Harasa Pasuk, Harasa Vav, Shel Hahei, Shenefsekis Vanasas. So what the pasuk is showing is related to a vav, because its shape is a vav, it's just a straight line. Some other tropes have more complicated forms, but the form of a vav is a form of pasuk and makaf, which are the only two osios, which are in Nukudas Tagim. The only two trop which we have, only two tamim which we have inside on the level of the osios. They're also the shape of a vav, which is exactly fitting into what we're saying, because here now we're speaking about the ors and sign, the tamim and sign that come out of the chotem, and only tamim and sign are two vavs. the vav that comes out of the right chotem, the vav that comes out of the left chotem, and these are the two tamim that there are in an actual trop, the shape of a vav. then hey shenifsekes also vav shel hey shenifsekes v'nasis lo vav alfin k'nisken. Now this is showing that the vav inside the hey has been in nifsekes, has been cut off and separated v'nasis lo vav alfin. That's pasuk. That's why it's called pasuk, because we're mafsik, we're separating, we're cutting and dividing the vav from the rest of the hay. Also, so we're cutting it we're cutting it out away from the hay, and also we're cutting it into 6 parts. So that's the word pasuk. Pasuk means to cut also. And if we attach the pasuk to the makaf, which is the other trap, if you attach the pasuk like this to the makaf, which is like this, then we have now a tzura daled. And this is also coming to show the os daled shel os hey. V'nei os daled has os v'arbianu el shem nesekes. And here we're showing referring to the daled inside the hey by showing the 2 vavs also form the two chotams also have the 2 also form the 2 tamim inside, and they also can be formed into a daled. So we're also showing that there is still a daled here in the chotam. And we already explained before that we don't divide this daled into 4 alfim. However, we're going to show later on that it is divided. And here we're about to show in the next paragraph that it is divided. There's a remez to this division of the daled into 4 alfim. So now there is another reference to this daled, and here it is a little bit revealed, this daled, as we're going to explain. When you take a hay in the right ear, which numbers 10 spheres, we said it has 10 spheres. This is the concept of 1 yud. It's a b'china of 1 yud. And if you attach it to the hay, which is in the nekev yom shachotem, which form is also daled vav, then you're going to get a kulam sirum yud vav daled. We have a yud in the ozan. We take the vav and the daled, which in the chotem, it comes out to a tzir of yud vav daled. Shutzuas alef echad kazeh, which is the form which comes out to the yud vav daled. You can make it into os alef. You take the yud, put it on the top, take the vav, turn around, put it on the bottom. Shutzuas yud vav daled. That's 1 alef. Gam tikav yud shebe negev ozen small. You take the yud in the left ear. You attach it to the vav daled in the nekev chotem small, in the left nostril. Hare aleph shnia. You have another aleph, which is made out of yud vav daled. Hare yesh beis minei alfim shetzuos yud vav daled. You have 2 types of alfim which have a form of yud vav daled. And if you want to also, you could show this in a different way. You can also make more alfim in a different way. V'hu shetikach yud shel ozen small. If you take a yud of the ozen small, the vav shel nekev chotem small, and also you take the vav of the nekev chotem small, the yud ozen yaminis, hare yud echad shetzuos yud vav yud. If you take the 2 ears and you count them as 2 yuds, and you take the vav of the nekev small of the left nostril, you could put them all these osios together to have a yud vav yud, which could be formed into an aleph. The vav goes on the slant, the yud is on the top, another yud on the bottom, makes it an aleph. That's one way. That's one aleph we can make. Tikach yud shel ozen yaminis, shel ozen yamin, the vav shel nekev chotem yamin, the yud shel ozen small, hare aleph shnia mitzvos yud vav yud. Again, if you do the same thing on the other side, you take the 2 yuds from the 2 oznaim. So you take the chotem you take the vav from the chotem, and you put them all together, you end up with a yud vav yud, which you could create into an aleph. So now we have two alfim, which are the form, are a base alfim, Yitzir Yud Vav Yud, Yud Vav Daled. The base alfim Yitzir Yud Vav Yud. So now we showed how you could make two alfim from the form of Yud Vav Daled, and two alfim in the form of Yud Vav Yud. How that alfim? Now we have four alfim. And this is showing a little bit of the revelation, of the Daled, which was inside the hay of the Chotem, which is inside the hay of the that inside the Chotem, the Daled of the hay is a little bit revealed, a little bit broken down into four alpha. However, it's not totally revealed, it's totally broken down. Like the Vav, like we said, the Vav is broken down to six alpha. It's not broken down like the Vav of the hay, which is inside the Chotem. However, the main Gemar Gilui, the main revelation of these four alpha is going to be only later on down in the Oros Peh, as we're going to explain Bez Hashem very soon. V'da ki eses spheres elu shel Oros HaOznaim kozman shem nimshach nagvul hachotem as hu yachidu b'fnei atzmam. These 10, you should know that these 10 spheres of the Oros of the Oznaim, of the light of the Oznaim, kozman shem nimshach nagvul hachotem, as long as they get to the gvul hachotem, so as in yachidu b'fnei atzmam, then they're totally alone by themselves, meaning there's no other Or from here to here except for the Oros of Oznaim. Aval kashem nimshach However, when the Oros Oznaim reach up to the level of the Chotem, as mislavish ar ozen besof ar Chotem. However, there, from there on, from here to Shivos Zaken, they dress up inside the Oros HaChotem. And they become the concept of the neshama to the Oros HaChotem. Oros HaChotem is like the group, and the Oros Oznaim is like the neshama. Oros Oznaim, is like the neshama. Or the Oros HaChotem is like the ruach, and the Oros Oznaim is like the Chotem. I'm not sure which one is. I think it's more the first one, probably that the Oros Oznaim is more like the neshama, and the Oros HaChotem is called like the guf. That's the relationship, because he says also by the Oros HaChotem, the Oros HaChotem are established inside the Oros Peh, and they become like a bechina of the neshama. So if basically it would make more sense to say it's neshama and guf in each case. And similarly, the Or Chotem, when it goes down from where the Peh starts and down, as mislamish Or Peh, mislamish hu Or Peh, and as Or Chotem bechinas neshama pnimis, and Or Peh also becomes a bechina of neshama pnimis and Or Peh. So if we were going to say that the Or Ozen was neshama and the Or of the Chotem was ruach, so here we should have to say ruach. So saying neshama, it means it's referring to a relationship of neshama and guf. The upper Or is the neshama and the lower Or is the guf. Gamda ki uso haor hayotze mitoch adam kadmon hazeh hine kulo or. Also, you should know that the Or that comes out of the adam kadmon is totally one Or. Rak ki al yedei sraf uso vervidato lamata. However, inside Adam Kadmon, as it goes down inside Adam Kadmon, it gets weakened. It gets more lower type of light. Ketzad ha'or yotzeh min ha'ozan huzaf ma'od. How does this work? The Or that comes out of the ears is very, very pure. Kasha nimshach ha'or hazeh b'pnimis Adam Kadmon ad hagio el hachotem yotzeh k'tzas dersham. As the Oros go from those nine, they come out of those nine. As they go inside the Or Adam Kadmon goes down from those nine down to the Chotem inside Adam Kadmon. Hinei afal pishu or echad shava. Even though inside Adam Kadmon is one type of light, this light is a light that gets weaker from traveling from the level of those nine down to the level of the Chotem. However, since it gets farther away from its source, from where it comes from the kav, it's attached to the kav, when it goes down from here to the chotem and it comes out of chotem, so since as it travels down it gets weaker, when it comes out of the chotem also we're going to see a different type of light that is outside of the chotem. So when it comes out as a different type of light. That's why here we have, in those 9, we have the Oros Tamim Elyonim, the Tamim that are on top of the Osios, and in the center, in the Chotem, we have Tamim Inside, and in the Peh we're going to have Tam Tachton. Similarly, we have the same thing when it goes down, the same or inside the Adam Kadmon, it goes down to the Peh, it gets more and more chashuf, it gets darker, the light. Obviously, we're talking about very, very high lights that we can't even talk about, but we're talking in relation to the light that's on top of it. So it gets darker, and as it gets darker from those 9 to the chotem, from the chotem to the Peh, each time when it comes out of that hole at that place, it comes out as a different light. It gets more dark since it comes out. Since it's more separate from its original high place. But not because the aura itself is different, because all of the aura itself is exactly the same. A person would understand that the aura of the Ozen is the aura of the Mochin, which we said is on top of the Oznaim, that's called Oros Av. And from the Chotem, from the Oznaim and down, is called Sag, and it's enough for this, and this is where we have to be a deep person who understands, or maybe if you look in the Farshim, you might see an explanation of this. I don't have one right now, so that is it. It's enough with